contributed over $1 million to both parties of the Utah State Legislature.
500,000.
500,000, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. The same corporation contributed to money to more than 80% of the sitting legislature. Now, legislators can spend campaign money any way they want to. They can spend it for their campaign. They can spend it on another legislator's campaign, or they can use it for any personal expenditure that they so desire. Now, there's an attempt to place some limitation on that, but it isn't moving fast enough. Some legislators have funds used from their past campaigns that they use for their own personal interest, and we believe that's not appropriate. A Utah legislator can be a lobbyist. Did you know that? We have a sitting legislator who is a registered lobbyist. Now, while a new law prohibits a legislator from becoming a lobbyist for 1 year after leaving office, we propose 2. It does not prohibit the legislator from being a lobbyist. We think that's wrong, particularly when the lobbyist is paid both as being a legislator and as being that lobbyist. Yeah,
Okay,
it's not clicking.
just a minute. Now, this meeting is being run by the Utahns federal government. This, I wish you'd have asked us first. This is something that.
Mrs. Jarvis just said, well, they should probably be in there. That's all it's not my favorite.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, let's hold on handing out stuff till after, then we can decide what to hand out.
We do have a handout that we'll distribute at the end of the meeting.
If there are people who are against this proposal, we invite you to have your own meeting, and then you can hand out whatever you want, okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ed. A Utah sitting legislator can accept employment from a lobbyist. They can be a consultant for lobbyists. A group of lobbyists currently are being asked to provide a job for a legislator who is unemployed. This legislator, of course, once receiving a job, would continue to serve in the Utah State Legislature. Now, merit ought to determine who is a leader in our Utah State Legislature. Would like to suggest that that's not always the case. Rather, it's money. One legislator had a bank account of over $300. Thank you. $300,000, largely contributed by lobbyists. The same legislator gave much of his campaign donations to fellow legislators, House members, hopefully endearing themselves to vote for him when he ran for Speaker. Yeah, there we go. The same legislator served as Speaker of the House for 2 terms. Now, Utah is clearly at the bottom of the list when it comes to campaign disclosure or conflict of interest. That's so, and has been identified by several credible sources. The 2008 report from the UCLA School of Law and the California Voter Foundation graded Utah a D- in terms of ethics and reporting of contributions. The question we raise with you this evening, is the current system working? We think not. From past experience, we believe it's time for a change. Now, the legislature has made some feeble attempt, I might add, to address this problem. At the last session of the legislature, there were many bills that were drafted and submitted on the subject, but only a few emerged and even fewer passed. And as the Deseret News and others reported, they were without any major impact for addressing the problem that confronts the Utah State Legislature. Again, the question is, does the current system working? We think not. Now, it is true that a week ago today, an interim committee of the legislature, interestingly, passed a motion that they should look at a possibility of reforming their ethics code by creating an independent commission. We're delighted, and we're hopeful that this movement is pushing the legislature further to that end. Now, this is just a quote from the Ogden Standard Examiner. You can read it for yourself. I think others have even been more critical of what has happened or failed to take place. We are still at the back of the pack. The question again is the current system working? We think not. Now, Utah is often lauded for its management. You know that we've been identified as the #1 state in the union for managing state government. How great it would be if we could all say we are #1 in ethics and ethical conduct of our legislators and had a system that merits our #1. Now, this is intended to show you why we need ethical reform in the Utah State Legislature and why we need an independent commission. Now, I'll turn the time over to Jeanette, who will address to you. Do you want to do that introduction?
I'll just introduce her a little bit.
All right.
Thank
What
you
is
very
the
much, Brian.
proposal that is before us? That's what you want to know, for there are many rumors about as to what it does and what it doesn't do. We're here to clarify that.
Thank you, Carl. Janet Jensen is an attorney in Salt Lake City for 25 years. She has been an attorney in Los Angeles and in Washington, D.C. She was chief of staff for a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. She served as a law clerk for a person named Justice Dallin H. Oaks of the Utah Supreme Court. She graduated from the University of Utah Law School, where she was an editor of Utah Law Review. That speaks very well for her abilities. She specializes in medical law and has worked with many, many different doctors, healthcare organizations, and she has helped in the drafting of this legislation. So, Janet, we turn the time over to you. Thank you very much.
Little microphone forward, please.
Get it down here. You can sing that.
Thank you so much for coming. As they mentioned, my name is Janet Jensen, and I was a member of the group of former legislators, current legislators, and attorneys who drafted the proposal over weeks and weeks and months and months and months of long, hard work. And after we had the best draft we could come up with, after all our research of what other states do, all of our research of case law decisions where the courts in Utah and other states have interpreted various ethics proposals, we sent the proposal out, the draft out then to be vetted by other constitutional law scholars at universities and law schools, and we think that we have got a good draft, but we are so happy that you are here to give us comments and to express your concerns or ask your questions, and we're happy to share this with you tonight. Democracy is a lot of hard work, and everyone here at Utahns for Ethical Government has volunteered. Not one person has been paid one dime to do any of this, and I know that you're all here for free. Is anyone here being paid tonight? Show of hands. Okay.
Journalist.
Oh, a journalist. Okay, I think that's fair. So what exactly is this proposal that we have come up with? First of all, we wanted to, let me get coordinated here, because I don't want to be turning around like